you have to make sure you get on the right dating app for where you live and where you are at in life too. Something that works in New York City is not going to work in Dallas, like a dating app.
Is online dating after divorce a nightmare, or could it actually be the best chapter of your love life? Today, I'm speaking with America's top midlife dating expert to get to the truth. After being dumped at the altar in her 20s, Andrea McGinty founded It's Just Lunch Matchmaking. Later, navigating divorce after 24 years and raising a daughter solo, Andrea strategically re-entered the dating world, and it paid off. Known as the godmother of modern dating, she's facilitated over 33,000 dates and 10,000 marriages. She's mentored a generation of top matchmakers and earned media features from Oprah to The Today Show. With decades of experience and her book, Second Acts, Winning Strategies for Dating Over 50, Andrea's no-nonsense, heartfelt guidance continues to inspire second chances at love. Welcome, Andrea.
Thanks, Karen. What an intro.
So why do you think dating after divorce feels so much harder than dating in your 20s and 30s?
Oh, okay. A couple of reasons. Because you never saw it coming. You never thought when you walked down the aisle, 25, 35, that, hey, when I'm 60, I'm going to be doing this again, right? No, nobody's thinking that when they get married. Or people are widowed, or they've just had long-term relationships. Then the second factor is, how do you meet people? Your married friends are not a good resource.
This is so true.
and then you start to think all the good men are married, and men think all the good women are taken. And it's like so not true, because we have this thing that we did not have in the 1990s when I started called the internet. And with that comes 1,400 dating apps. So it's like we have the world at our fingertips in terms of people. And I think a lot of people are nervous about going online for the first time. They feel like it's a privacy thing. I'm putting my picture out there. They're wary of it and they're nervous about it. Plus, their self-confidence is probably plummeted. Their self-confidence might be very high in their career. But as far as dating, no.
It's interesting because I've been on the dating apps. I got divorced officially in 2015, but I've been on the apps, let's say, for the last 10 years on and off. And whenever someone says to me, oh, I don't want to get on the apps, I'm like, well, if you sit at home on your butt watching, Love Island, nobody's going to knock on the door. Do you really believe the pool is that scarce? Because I'm an optimist and I love the dating apps, and I believe in, one or multiple partners are out there for me. But a lot of people don't feel that way.
Oh, well, if they don't feel that way, they're doing something wrong, because there is such a pool of people. There's an ocean of people, not a pool, an ocean of people out there. And part of it is you have to make sure you get on the right dating app for where you live and where you are at in life too. Something that works in New York City is not going to work in Dallas, like a dating app. And I just had that last week with a client, a brand new client from Dallas. And I asked her what she was using, and she said, I'm just like so discouraged. I'm so bummed out. I'm using Coffee Meets Bagel. And I'm thinking, why would she pick that app? So I asked, why did you pick that app? And she said, because my best friend in New York's using it. I'm like, oh, okay. It's really popular in New York, LA, and Miami, and that's it. You're on the wrong app. So, you get on the wrong app, and then you start to think, oh no, there's no women out there. There's no men out there. So you have to be in the right place.
So how do you find out what the right app is?
Well, you could do some research on your own, knowing that if you're over 50, there's certain websites that can be good for, targeting the over 50 market. Then the other kind of part of this, am I on the right app, is you want to be on an app that we're two women talking right now, looking for men. You want to be on a male-centric app. So, for example, Match.com or Hinge is going to be has more male clients than female. On the other hand, an app like Bumble has more women than men. So men, if you're listening, Bumble's the one you want to be on.
What's the biggest mistake people make when they get on the apps?
They quit. They quit after 2 weeks. That's the biggest mistake they make. So let's say you got on the right app. You start scrolling. You have no strategy. I'm a business person. I'm very strategic with my clients. And you've got to have a dating strategy. For example, I even make my clients, my new book just came out this year. Here, I'll show you. Ah, my baby.
Yes. Congratulations.
Thank you. And it's called Second Apps, Winning Strategies for Dating Over 50. But anyway, to the point I'm going to get to about the book, it's not a bunch of fluff. It has 15 worksheets in the book, and it also has QR codes with me coaching you through each of the worksheets. The last worksheet, one of the most important, is you write a personal business plan for your love life. So and people, my clients even say, "Really? I'm writing a business plan for my love life? That's not so unromantic." No. And I'm like, yes. We have to know what you're willing to do, how resilient you are, what are the barriers to entry, what are you really looking for, what's important to you, what are your values, and really coming up, with a plan. And what are you willing to do to make this happen? And so, when I say they quit after 2 weeks, they quit after 2 weeks.
How important are knowing your values to going online? I think a lot of people just sort of think you go online and that's all you do. But you're talking about a worksheet that we need to go through and like a business plan and all that, which I think is fantastic. I feel like values are really the most important thing to a healthy relationship. What is your opinion in terms of like going online and knowing all that about yourself?
I think you're right. I think knowing what your values are is paramount to finding a relationship. But then there's two other things too that I throw in there. It's communication and it's chemistry. You have to have that chemistry part too, because I don't know how many people I talk to who've gone on like several dates with somebody, and they'll say, "Oh, he matches everything I want. His values are great. This is great. He's a good communicator. I don't feel any chemistry." And you know what? Chemistry doesn't come. It just doesn't. If you don't have it by the third date, you're never going to have it. And this is just based on me doing this for like 35 years. So you've got to have that value, your value system. Yeah, of course that's important. You might not have had it in your past relationship, so you might have learned some things about yourself that like this is a no-brainer going into, another relationship. The first worksheet in the book is really all about that. Where's your head at? Where's your what is your value system? Let's talk about that. Let's write down the characteristics that really, really matter to you about the other person. Is it education? Is it religion? Is it how they feel about their family? If you're really connected with your family and like your family, it's probably not going to work out with somebody who is majorly estranged from their family or even their kids, right?
If it's your first relationship post-divorce, do you think that has an opportunity for success?
Yes, I do. If the person is ready and if the person has done the homework on, why did that end? I'll give some examples. Okay, so my 24-year marriage ended amicably. But I knew we were getting divorced. I don't think he did. I knew like 5 or 6 years before like I kind of pulled the plug, that there were some things that just weren't lining up and couldn't seem to get lined up. So, if I had jumped back in the dating pool, the day those papers were inked, I would have probably been okay, because I had thought about this and I had gone through this, mentally, psychologically, all of that stuff. Now, a couple of caveats. Okay. A man who just gets out of a divorce, And one of the questions you have to ask yourself is, you as a woman dating this man, can he not talk about his ex-wife on the first couple of dates? Can he not rant about the custody battle or the financial implications or how he got taken? So if one of the parties, and it could be a woman too, doing the same kind of rant, um, beware. They're not ready. They need to date and they need the experience, and that's another thing, online's good for, because they need practice. And eventually, you don't, for those kind of people, you don't want to go into a relationship with them and think this is my, long-term partner. It's not. Nope. These people aren't ready. And you don't want to be the person getting them ready for it.
Yes. What is my expression that I heard I love? I want a partner, but not a project.
Right. Exactly.
What would you say are the top 5 red flags and top 5 green flags to look out for, or top 3, whatever number?
Online. Okay. I would say the top red flags to look for are people who only post one photo or two photos. Like, what's that about? What are they hiding? The number you should have 6. If you have 4 or 5, I could live with you. But to have one photo, it's a pretty big red flag. Another one is, just because we are living in the era of AI, you can read some of these profiles, and especially if they're longer ones, like Bumble and Hinge really don't allow it. But once you're on a Match.com, you'll see longer profiles, and you'll see words that aren't commonplace in our vocabulary. That means either AI wrote it or a bot wrote it. Something else wrote it, and this person really doesn't have skin in the game. Another red flag is if they didn't pay for the app or the site, because they have no skin in the game, right? No skin in the game. Green flags. Green flag, or let's go back to red flags for a minute.
It's so much easier to find those.
I could just go on about those forever.
If this sparks something for you and you want the extended cut of the episode, you can listen to the full interview wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Taboo to Truth or hit the link in the description.